Hello, this is Jer. I'm playing Oxygen Not Included, and today I'm going to bring back lead to my main base in an automated way. I'm also going to cool down the lead because it's currently 72 degrees and I do not want it in my main base at that temperature. So doing a little bit of preparation, carving out a spot for automation, and I'm going to look at the temperature differential between these biomes. I want to maintain that. So I'm going to mop up some liquid. As crude oil is going to be a really good choice. I'm going to show how I'm going to use that to maintain temperature differential between those biomes. But first, I need to send scientists back to my main base because some research needs to happen in order to build a conveyor loader. With scientists here, I can now go to the research menu. I'm going to go to solid material, solid transport. And it's conveyor loader that I'm interested in. So let's begin some research on that. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bring engineer back into this world because they're currently the only one that has the skill to build some of the automation we need. Alright, so this may seem a little strange at first, but I'm going to chuck a little crude oil down the stairwell. I purposely cut out a stairwell through the abyssal. You'll see why in just a moment. So miner's going to drop off the crude oil for us. Excellent, making a mess. Let's clean up the portion that's on the Atmos machines, because there's no need of getting their feet wet every time they go through. And then once we do that, I'm noticing my stairwell is actually just shy for the size I need, but that's not a problem. I'm just going to throw in one more tile. You may not need to do that if you've got a little bit longer, one tile longer stairwell. So once I have that, I'm going to create two more tiles. One next to it, that tile, and one diagonal up from there. So what I'm taking advantage of at this point is if you destruct a tile and that tile doesn't have any gases that are next to it, it'll become a vacuum, which is what has just happened here. We've got a vacuum on both those tiles. The crude oil is preventing gas from above and below from entering. And I can even go further. I can mop up that spot there, and I've got 3 tiles that are a vacuum through that spot. And in a vacuum, no temperature changes between them. And I've got the bissolite on both sides, which means I've got great temperature control between these two environments. All right, so with that preparation out of the way, let's begin. So just a quick note, be very careful about not accidentally mopping up that liquid, because you won't be able to maintain the vacuum if that happens. That can happen if you mop up many things at once to try to clean up your base. May have happened to me on more than one occasion. So just be careful of that if you have this system in your base going forward. Just waiting on research team. Okay, so that is the sound of research being complete. Let's now build our system's auto sweeper. I already brought in copper to this world, so I'm going to use copper. I'm a little bit concerned still about heat, just because it's going to be hot materials that are going to be in this area. But I only need 2 things. I need a auto sweeper and this new conveyor loader. Now this needs to be within range of the auto sweeper. Auto sweeper can go out 3 tiles, so this is a good location. I need to power it up. And I'm going to bring tracks, conveyor rail from here. I'm going to get it to go through granite tiles because I want the temperature transfer to happen so that I'm not bringing hot lead to my base. So I'm just taking the conveyor rail all the way to the other side of the base where my teleportation machine will be able to send it to my main base. While those dupes go and build the conveyor rail, I'm just having some extra research done that I'll need in the next few episodes because I don't want to keep this base idle. Alright, they're idle, indicating that this is complete. So what I'm going to do is put in some bins down here. Okay, now that I've got these bins, I'm going to select refined metal and click on lead. Copy that setting to all of the bins here. I'm going to find the same thing here, refined metal, lead. And I'm going to up the priority to be one higher, or at least one higher, than the storage bins. So the idea here is they're going to start putting them into bins. The auto sweeper is going to start putting it into here. And then it's going to make its way up. And if we have a look, I'll just bring on the conveyor overlay. It's entering at 70 degrees. It's not taking any time at all to get down to minus 32. When you put material through granite tile, it's going to transfer heat extremely well. And that was going to make its way all the way to the opposite side of the base, where it'll be dropped in here and brought to the other side. So at this time, one thing to consider, if we want to optimize this a little bit further, let's see, where is my system that's going to receive? Yes, it's going to be brought in here. I'll have the first items. There it is. It's being dropped off. But I'm going to actually destroy this, because why have it dropped off here? I'll have this extended, and I'll have to bring engineer back or train someone with the skills to build this, but I'll have it brought into a more central location. It's not hot now, so there's really no concern. And I'm just going to drop it off at a central-ish location, usually on the higher part of the base. I plan to do a lot of building in this area, so that's going to be a good spot. This little hat means no one here on this side can build it. They don't have Metatronics engineering. I don't have the ability to bring engineer over at the moment, but when I do, I'll send engineer over, and these guys will just continue digging, collecting all the lead that I want. I'll probably switch at some point to fossil, because I have plans with fossil coming up, and iron ore. One little extra tip before I end this episode, and that's how to deal with these sportured plants that create zombie spores. So I've got those in this zone, a number of them. I first need to check whether I have zombie spores in the air or just in the liquid area. They're dead, there's none in the air, so this strategy works. If they are in the air, there's a completely different strategy, and I might have a different video on that someday, but if they're not in the air, then you can use this strategy. You can dig into them as long as you dig those plants out as quick as possible. So don't do this just as they're going to bed. Make sure they're able to dig in, get those plants out. And an extra piece of advice, if you've got a pip wandering around that likes to pick up random seeds and drop it somewhere, don't have that happen. Lock those away in some place that the pip isn't. With all that, I would say this is a success. We've got an automatic way to bring back this lead. We're cooling it down. We've dealt with the sportured plants along the way. We're now ready to begin the next project in the main base, which is creating plastic, which is going to enable some very interesting things in future projects. Hope to see you there.